Look, I get it. Amazon FBA product research can be confusing as for beginner sellers. I've been in your shoes, confused about what a good product looks like and not wanting to buy the wrong products, which would lead to losing money. In this video, I'm gonna show you 5 examples of the types of products a lot of beginner sellers automatically pass on. However, these items can still totally make you good profits. So make sure you listen up and implement the stuff you see in this video. So to start off, guys, we can see this specific item right here is a white pair of Nike shoes. Where my eyes immediately go is that there's 13,000 reviews on this product. And we can see it's a 5K sales rank. That looks pretty good. It's got a ton of reviews. We know this item probably sells. We can see on this specific item, there's no buy box here, which is when it says see all buying options. But if we take a look at the Keepa chart, this actually looks like a really nice product here over the past couple months with the competition trending down and the price nicely trending up. However, a lot of beginner sellers automatically pass on stuff with no buy box because they think it automatically means that listing isn't selling. However, we can see the price has gone up substantially here from like $75 in June and July to like $85 in July and early August to now being up around like $100, and the competition's nicely trended down. In general, you don't automatically want to avoid stuff that doesn't have a buy box. There can still totally be some gems in that stuff because a lot of new sellers automatically pass on it. However, as we can see on this item, customers are still going to the see all buying options and purchasing this product right here. So don't automatically avoid stuff that doesn't have a buy box. Taking a look at this second product right here, we can see this item actually also doesn't have a buy box. We already know not to avoid that stuff. However, taking a look down here at the Keepa chart, we can see at certain times Amazon has been in stock on this product. That's something a lot of beginner sellers will automatically avoid. However, we can see on this specific item, while Amazon was in stock at 80 there, the buy box was actually going at 71. So even though Amazon was in stock on this product, which would lead a lot of sellers to automatically avoid it, the buy box actually wasn't going to Amazon. This is a rare case where Amazon was actually priced above the buy box too. However, the way I like to navigate listings that look like this, where I can see Amazon actually either is in stock or has been in stock, is I want to take a look at the offer count movement, aka the competition, and make sure it's still going down and up and just people are selling out, coming back in stock, etc. here. The ones you do want to automatically avoid that Amazon's in stock on are going to be a very blocky chart. So for example, this is the furthest thing from being blocky. It's nicely up and down here. We can see even when Amazon was in stock from like July 15th to like July 25th, there was still nice offer count movement on this specific item. So this is an example of something where Amazon's on it, but they are nicely sharing the buy box. If you see that it's super flat and very blocky, which this listing isn't, you want to avoid that stuff. Another really good way to go ahead and find this, in general, guys, there's no rules of thumb. Some people do like to have rules of thumb going ahead and hitting data and then buy box statistics right here and making sure that Amazon is giving up a certain percentage of it. However, getting a little bit advanced here, if a listing has an incredibly good sales rank and it's selling incredibly quick, Amazon can be sharing less buy box share and it's still good. However, if a listing's selling slower, Amazon's going to need to be giving up more buy box share proportionally. So the faster a listing's overall selling, the more buy box share Amazon can have and it can still be good. And the slower a listing selling, Amazon's going to need to be giving up more buy box share. There's no kind of rule of thumb in terms like Amazon sharing the buy box. They literally just do on some listings and don't on other listings. And it's our job as third-party sellers to take a look at the buy box stats on Keepa and make sure that we can see other third-party sellers making money, as well as taking a look at the Keepa chart and making sure that there's nice offer count movement, aka third-party sellers actually selling out. All right, the third example right here is going to be listings with a very high sales rank. A lot of beginners will automatically disqualify 200 or 250K sales ranks. However, in some of the bigger categories, clothing, shoes, jewelry, for example, there can still totally be gems that are just a little bit higher sales rank. Take this pair of slides, for example, here. We can see this is a size 9 right here. If we go ahead and take a look down here, we can see there's actually not other sizes and colors on this listing. So all the volume's concentrated on this specific variation. Taking a look at this sales rank right here, a lot of sellers would automatically avoid this right here, in general, right? And this is partially my fault for saying like the blanket rules. There's not blanket rules, but in general, I typically say stay below 150,000 sales rank. However, taking a look at this Keepa chart, we can see nice offer count movement here, even when the rank was like 300K and even size like 600K right here. And we can still see nice movement on this specific Keepa chart here. So it's important to note, guys, you're going to build your own strategies and there's no blanket rules around this stuff. This specific item doesn't have variations, therefore all the volume's concentrated on this specific product here. So while this isn't a fantastic seller, the Keepa chart is giving us data that this listing does actually sell, and it might make sense to test some slower selling products here based on sales rank, especially if you're getting a high ROI. In general, those blanket rules I tend to lay out just for beginners who want them tend to be more geared towards listings at a normal ROI. If you're doing retail arbitrage or just in general finding OA products with a really high ROI, you can totally go higher in sales rank, especially in these types of larger categories here, or for listings that don't have variations. This is a listing with no variations that's competing in clothing, shoes, and jewelry, with almost every listing having variations, or at least a lot of them. So naturally, it makes sense this would have a higher sales rank. But this is also one of the bigger categories on Amazon, which means listings like this, we can see, do clearly move here, taking a look at that offer count movement, even with the higher sales rank. So in general, don't automatically disqualify stuff that has a high sales rank, and understand you're going to build your own strategy over time, and everyone has different stuff that works for them as you're building and advancing as an Amazon seller. These are all just examples of stuff that I see people automatically avoid that maybe they shouldn't always based on certain factors. The next one here, guys, is just going to be listings with no sales rank, kind of similar to no buy box. There's not always a rhyme or reason for times when Amazon takes away the BSR or the sales rank here, as we can see, literally unknown. However, the Keepa chart's going to reign supreme in terms of data, whether or not there's a buy box, whether or not Amazon's on it, whether or not it's a high sales rank, or if there's no sales rank. If the Keepa chart looks good, it might still make sense to test a product like this, in that we can see this listing had a very good sales rank until like August 18th, for example, right here, and has decent offer count movement and good flow. If we take a look at this specific Keepa chart here and take out the sales rank here, this looks like something that sells nice and well and has decent movement. However, a lot of sellers would automatically avoid this purely based on the fact that it has no BSR. You have to understand, guys, the Keepa chart reigns supreme. Another type of product you guys want to make sure you don't automatically avoid is low estimated sales type listings. It's important to note, this is a 77K BSR, which tends to be pretty good. However, a lot of beginners would automatically disqualify this based on low estimated sales. However, estimated sales on SellerAmp is largely based off the historical sales rank, which we can see on this item. The current sales rank is very good, but the historical sales rank was way higher. However, guys, like I always say, the Keepa chart reigns supreme. If we take a look at this product, it's definitely not the quickest mover in the world, but it totally has sold. It had 6 sellers on June 16th and went all the way down to 2 sellers on June 26th here. So, in general, guys, there's no blanket rules with this stuff. You build your own strategy over time. I'm just here to show you guys a lot of examples that I see a lot of sellers automatically disqualify that they shouldn't necessarily automatically disqualify here. So when you see a listing that has really low estimated sales, make sure you take a look at the Keepa chart and see if it's actually showing movement here, because there's a lot of listings that for whatever reason, they might have just become like a detached variation or their sales rank went crazy, but they still actually sell decently pretty well, or maybe even just here and there, and they have a higher ROI, and it might be something it makes sense to test. And another one just I want to add that I see a lot of sellers automatically avoid is listings that have the little PL or private label alert on SellerAmp. You shouldn't automatically avoid those listings. However, you do need to make sure you take a look if that listing's dominated by the brand or not. So if you take a look at the Keepa chart and it says private label on SellerAmp and it's an incredibly straight line or maybe just really blocky, and you take a look at who the sellers are and the brand on SellerAmp where it says brand up there matches the name of the one seller that's dominating the buy box or is the only seller, that listing probably is private label. However, if you take a look at an Under Armour product and it just happens to be low competition, but the sellers on the listing or seller on the listing isn't Under Armour, it's third-party sellers, and you can see nice movement historically on the Keepa chart, that might be something it makes sense to test. So that private labeler is just suspected private label. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is or isn't. It's on you to take a look at that and see if it's dominated by the brand or not. If it is dominated by the brand, it's probably something you definitely want to avoid. If it isn't dominated by the brand, you need to take a look at other listings in that brand as well and make sure that that listing actually is reseller friendly and there's third-party sellers making money on it. So the whole point of this video, guys, was just to show you listings with no buy box, listings with no sales rank, listings that Amazon's on. You shouldn't necessarily automatically avoid those items. It doesn't necessarily mean that those are good. Far from it, but you do need to take a look at the Keepa chart because that's going to be the best data for that specific product and see if it makes sense for you and your business, which is an ever evolving strategy you're going to build over time. Hope this video was helpful, guys. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. If you want my personal help scaling up your Amazon business, now's a great time to take a look at the link in the description and consider applying for my coaching program. If you want 3 group coaching calls per week, unparalleled daily one-on-one access to me, if you want to have my personal phone number, we'll also get live one-on-one on Zoom and live source together as well. And just all my coupons, tips, tricks, and strategies to make sure you maximize Q4. Take a look at that at the link in the description. Make sure to subscribe for more, guys. If you want more good free game, check out my full free course right here. It's literally 6 hours. Best piece of content on the internet you've ever seen for free. I promise, not even close. Check that out right here. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.